Hi friends, what's up? How are you? I hope you are well, and I sincerely appreciate you taking the time to check out today's video. Today's video is part of a series that I have done videos on the previous books. They are novellas. It is the Club Stigmata Novellas by Elle Luckett. I adore Elle's writing. That is also a pen name for LJ Stock, which I have done videos on her other books as well. I'm such a fan of hers. Elle is kind of the more risque part of Lou's personality, I suppose we could say, and I'm down for it. I love her writing. I enjoy these stories so much. So let's get into today's video. The book is titled You, Me, and the Stalker. Of course, like I mentioned, You, Me, and the Stalker is part of the Club Stigmata universe. So we know that basically Club Stigmata is the thing that kind of anchors all of these characters and what brings them all together. This book is about Zara, who actually is new to the series, and Mark. Zara is Lane, who we've already met in the series, is Lane's sister. So Zara was new to me and to us. We hadn't met her in the club at all in the previous books. We have met Mark before. Is Mark one of the owners? I mean, when I read it was him, I knew right away that like we had already met him and he's important to the club. Maybe he's one of the owners. Sorry, Lou, I should know that, but I was excited when I saw that it was him, that we were going to get more of him. Zara shows up basically unannounced in Lane's life. They hadn't spoken, as we read, they hadn't spoken in a few years. Zara is not running, but kind of running from her ex, who is the stalker, who we come to find his name is Elijah. We learn about her relationship with him. We know that it strained her and Zara and Lane's relationship, which is one of the reasons why they hadn't spoke. We learned through reading the book that Elijah was really a terrible person. He was abusive both mentally and physically to Zara. I don't want to say it was like your typical abusive relationship, but you know what I mean when I say that. It was not good. She has since left him, moved across the country, and kind of tried to get away. She shows up at Club Stigmata to see Lane at work and is like, okay, what is going on here? Lo and behold, she needs a job. So she starts working at Club Stigmata. She runs into Mark pretty quickly. They kind of look at each other. He's intrigued by her. She's like, oh my God, who's that man? Something that Lane talks about when she hires Zara is that there's an amount of privacy and, is secrecy the right word? I'm not sure. But you know, if you're gonna work at a BDSM club, you need to be appropriate in how you react to people that are enjoying the lifestyle while they are in the safe environment of the club and stuff like that. So one of their first interactions that Mark and Zara have, she's kind of confronted with a situation, and Mark sees her reaction to the situation. Mark is, oh my God, I want a Mark in my life. There was just something about him. And I think it's the caretaker that comes out in him. He's very alpha, he's very dominant sexually, and how he carries himself through life. But he also has this caretaker side that in being a sexual dominant, he fulfills very well because He enjoys the aftercare. He enjoys pushing someone's boundaries sexually. He enjoys all of that. And then he gets, oh God, I almost said he gets off. He really likes the process of all of that start to finish, and that he enjoys that somebody looks to him and is involved with him that way. I hope I'm articulating that correctly. So Mark, to me, was super sexy. I was totally into him because I enjoyed the whole mind thing with him and how he looks at an encounter that he has with somebody, in that it's not just sexual gratification for him. It's so much more than that. And I like that. I enjoy that. I like the whole psyche part of that, and the transfer of power between two people, and the intimacy and all of that. I totally understood how Elle was portraying that in this book, how she has portrayed it in the previous books. I have no experience in this department at all, but I'm learning along as I'm reading these books, and I really liked that part of Mark. So getting back to one of their first interactions, Zara comes across a situation and he sees how she reacts to it, and he wonders why. He's one of those people that's really observant, let's put it that way. And he sees that he can help her. And he's trying to figure out how to go about doing that. He kind of charges right into her life after that. He takes charge, because that's the way he is, of that situation, and removes her from the situation, calms her down, talks her through it, and then is like, okay, we're doing this. I'm the guy for you. I'm going to help you get your control back. It's not just going to be about sex. It's going to be about a lot of other stuff, and you need to do this. And of course, Zara's like, okay, like, who's this hot man? And he's willing to help her that way. There is this obvious undercurrent of chemistry and sexuality in these books, right? It's about a BDSM club. So there's all of these layers when it comes to the lifestyle that Elle infuses in these books that makes the stories really interesting, super hot, but with drama and good things that you can sink your teeth into, and characters that you like. And this was probably, I mean, like I said, I've liked all of them, but this is probably my favorite one, and it's because of Zara and Mark. As Mark is, I mean, not that he has to convince Zara to kind of go for the plan that he has. This is what he says, and this is how he explains himself to her. This is where I was like, oh, okay, total crush on Mark. Just explain to me what this will achieve, I asked, my body finally going limp, my cold skin absorbing the warmth from his broad chest. You know what I am, but my particular dominance is pleasuring women and looking after them once their body and mind are spent. I enjoy caring for them. Knowing how to read a woman is something I have worked on for a long time, and fulfilling those needs is what gets me off. How does that entail tying a woman to I trailed off, trying to remember the word he used. Spanking bench and abusing her body. Control. It's all about control and not all mine. Oh, come on. What do you think a safe word is? You always have the ultimate power while allowing us to feel as though we have the control over you. Part of that is making sure you never have to use the word to stop the scene. To have that trust between a couple where even when you think you can't take any more, you let me make that decision. Whether that's just being able to have sex without panicking or being tied to a bench and very creative other thing here she says, which I'm not going to read. Until you scream with pleasure. It's about trust and handing over control to someone who will take the time to read all the signs you give and stop when you ask them to, if you ask them to. I shivered at his words and the clarity that came with them. His explanation shouldn't make sense to me, but it did. He's not only talking about sex, but it's the other stuff. And that's why I really liked him. It's obvious they have chemistry. Sorry, did you hear that? That was Macy. It's obvious that they have chemistry for days. I mean, Elle just writes that so well. But what I wasn't sure about was it's obvious and it's so cute, and I identified with Zara so much as she's kind of falling for him more and more. She's kind of sarcastic with herself, which was funny, but it was exactly what I would be thinking at the same time, and I loved that about her. But I wasn't sure with Mark if, if he was just like, if he was falling as well. I was nervous about that because I just wasn't sure. He handles her with kid gloves. There's no step in their relationship that isn't thought about with him. Not in a manipulative way at all. It's just like what I read about him. He's just very thoughtful, and he's so self-aware in himself, and he knows exactly what to do because what he's learned about women and his partners so far in life. This is an exchange between them that I highlighted that I really liked. It's Mark talking. I'm gonna kiss you. Why are you announcing it? Because I need you to stop me if it's too much for your head. What if I don't care? Mark smiled, the tips of his fingers pushing loose strands of my hair back. Remind yourself that I do. He was so good. He wants to push her boundaries, but he wants her to remember that she has to want it too, and not just do it and not just accept it, the kiss, that he wants her to feel it too. Loved it. So of course it's you, me, and the stalker for a reason. I kept waiting to see when he was gonna kind of make an appearance. He makes an appearance. There is total drama. It's written amazingly. I was on the edge of my seat and holding my breath, wondering what was gonna happen. The good news is that of course we get a happily ever after with their story. I loved where Elle left it, and I'm so glad she's continuing to write these novellas. I'm such a fan. Let me know if you have read any of the other Club Stigmata books. I would highly recommend them, and I would love to hear your thoughts about them. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Bye!